What lives inside us that we share? What gets passed down through generations? I inherited my red hair from my mother.
I inherited my freckles from my father.
J'ai hérité des yeux bleus de ma grand-mère.
I inherited my sense of humor from my father.
J'ai hérité de ma mère la gêne braqueur.
My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer about 10 years ago, and she found out that she was positive. Then my mother and my grandmother were also tested for the gene, and they found out that they were carriers.
I lost my mother as my mother had lost hers. So unfortunately, in her early 50s, she died. Basically, I've known that there was something very aggressive in our family. Not knowing exactly why, but I knew it was there.
My mother had breast cancer at a very young age. She died from breast cancer at the age of 37. She also had an aunt that was diagnosed with breast cancer also at a young age, and that aunt died in her early 40s.
The knowledge of the BRCA1 or BRCA2 gene, that only came to me through the death of my cousin. I didn't consider the fact that the genetic linkage was evident or that there was any genetic link till my cousin, the one who wasn't suffering from cancer, said, "Hey, my sister has been tested and she tested positive."
The BRCA1 gene and the BRCA2 gene are responsible for preserving the integrity of our genetic code. If a mutation in one of these genes occurs, the code is broken. The broken code often results in uncontrollable cell growth, the hallmark of cancer. This gene mutation can be passed on from either the mother or the father. Children will have a 50% chance of inheriting the gene, and their children will have a 50% chance, and so on.
When I found out that I was a carrier of the BRCA1 gene, I was initially not very surprised. I was expecting that result. I was also at the time a new mom and very overwhelmed with being a new mother and taking care of a new baby, so it wasn't really the most important thing in my life at the time. I sort of figured I would just get examined every 6 months as they had recommended and kind of go on with my life from there. Made everything eat properly?
No, yeah.
When my son was about 6 months old, I found another tumor, and it was removed by a surgical biopsy, and it was benign, but at that time it was much more anxiety-provoking than it had been in the past.
The results of the test were positive. I didn't feel good about it, but because of this, Angie and I spoke on how and when we should start talking openly with our kids about it.
I knew about Hboc because I'd been coming to the event for a few years, but I'd never really been involved or gone to a meeting or really understood what they did. Another friend of mine invited me to an Hboc meeting. That was pretty eye-opening. At the end of the meeting, I spent some time talking about what Hboc did.
I don't think it was in either of our life's plan. It happened out of our response to a tragic situation and to wanting to do something better.
We really have to update our website.
A bit slow, but we have to get it going. Yeah. All right. I try to set aside a half an hour for foundation stuff every day. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I have to finish off this email, okay? difficult for both of us, but when the priority's high, we find the time. I mean, one of the hurdles is Joanne and I have developed our own systems. So if we hire somebody, we'd have to teach them our system, we'd have to let them into the secrets of our spreadsheets.
I don't know what we had in mind. I don't know where we thought we were going. We went into it just wanting to make a difference. We wanted to help people not have to experience what my family had to experience. When I found out I had the gene, suddenly there was just so much information. There's the surgeons, and then there's the people who follow you the rest of your life. And should you do the surgery? Should you not do the surgery? What's right for you? There's so many questions. If it was complicated for me, whose husband is a doctor, then it must be that much more complicated for the average person who doesn't have a doctor in their family.
Hello. Hey, how are you?
How you doing?
Good, you look great.
Thank you. Laura works at all of the McGill hospitals. Laura has about 500 or 600 people in her database. And what she does is she makes sure that they're being taken care of. There's a lot of people with a lot of worries, and she seems on top of all of it. She makes sure that they can get any appointment they need, MRIs and their ultrasounds and their blood tests, and she is an angel. Everybody that I refer to her thinks she's just the greatest thing. They just can't get over that there's this person that exists that can make my life this much easier.
We're going to need more individuals like Laura. I mean, that's really the hope.
After being hooked up with Laura Hayes and Hboc, it provided me with a real sense of relief and comfort and security. I really feel like I am being cared for here now, and I'm being followed, and that I'm not sort of trying to figure it out on my own. The most difficult part for me is probably knowing that I have this gene and that I passed it along to my kids, and that I just hope that, you know, by the time they're older and that they have kids, that we're able to address these cancers better.
I seen my mother die, and I might have just given the same thing to my child. I'm very grateful to Hboc for allowing me the opportunity to maybe protect them, but certainly to advise them. To hear the solutions that are available today, it's not enough. We need more. Do I want grandkids? Yes. Does my children want kids? Yes. I don't want to take the choice away from them. Say that I'm fearful myself is, it isn't the truth. I'm fearful for my kids.
Help, I have done it again. I have been here many times before, hurt myself again.